problem with the Paw Patrol in general, right? Like, I love the idea of a group of civic-minded puppy dogs taking care of business for a town full of people that seem surprisingly absent-minded. But the place that really rubs me the wrong way is, where's the funding coming from for the Paw Patrol, right? Is this like a generated from tax revenue kind of thing? There's an episode where Uncle Otis is out panning for gold and just gets like this fat pile of gold out of a river that they then use to make a giant statue of Chickaletta, Mayor Goodway's purse chicken. And it's like, if money truly is flowing from the ceilings and the rivers, I guess blowing a bunch of it on various iterations of vehicles for a squad of 5 to maybe 13 different characters that are all there, not necessarily fighting crimes, but definitely thwarting the plans of Mayor Humpstinker or whatever the heck his name is. I feel like maybe some of the money that gets spent on the Paw Patrol could be reallocated to other civic things, or maybe advertising what a wonderful town that you have to live in, or just expanding in general. I don't know. Something to ponder.
Okay, so that may have been the longest, most interesting TJ rant that we've gotten pre-show, but we went live.
How about it?
So welcome everybody to episode 163 of Sawdust Talk. We are joined tonight again by our friend Lee Ohman, and we are going to get all into Lee and what he's been up to lately. TJ, do you want to run through sponsors real quick?
Sure. Every week we thank Hannah and the team over at Surf Prep. If you guys are out in the Los Angeles and surrounding mountain areas and you think to yourself, what would be a fun day trip? We should reach out to Hannah and the team over at Surf Prep. Go check out their manufacturing facilities. Go meet the squad and get your hands on one of their 3x4 wiggle sanders that has really good dust collection. You'll get to see things like their foam back adhesive sanding abrasives. That's the word that I'm looking for. Train's going to take a few laps around the station tonight. But yeah, really cool team, really cool squad, incredible products. So thank you, Hannah, and the squad out there for keeping our show legitimate, happy, and getting us out to events. We appreciate everything that you do for us. Also, let's say you're looking in your wardrobe and you're thinking, you know what, I might have a gap. There might be something missing from this eclectic collection of clothes and maker shirts. But let me tell you, listeners and viewers, if you don't have a Sawdust Talk shirt in that wardrobe, what are you really doing with your life? Make better choices. Swing by CaseyBombshell.com. Get yourself some Sawdust Talk swag. And then also check out Layla's work. She does really cool tattoo flash and dork culture inspired scroll saw art. So yeah, go check that out, CaseyBombshell.com. Also, we are 1.25 weeks into the month of July. This is the second half of the Makers for St. Jude spring/summer push for participation. There's a lot of alliteration in that sentence. If you can get something cool that you made posted and a raffle run before the end of the month of July, there is lucrative prizes for you, but it also helps us raise money to fight childhood cancer. And St. Jude is an awesome charity that puts so much of that money to work as quickly as possible, helping support families during a time that's just awful. Right? So let's take your cool stuff and do cool stuff for people who could use your help. Get a hold of me. Get a hold of Jessie, get a hold of Mike over at Woodworker versus Cancer and at Makers for St. Jude on Instagram. We'll get you set up. We'll get a raffle running. Be cool. Be a part of something. And lastly, do you guys know there's a Patreon for this channel? It's a pretty quiet Patreon, but we appreciate all of your support because for only $5 a month, right? That is about the cost of a bag of potato chips. You could be all that and a bag of chips to us, me and Jessie, and help us get out to maker events and do cool stuff and get a little bit of merch and keep this show as awesome as we can possibly make it. tonight, probably not a great example, but Jessie did get a new camera recently, compliments of some Patreon love. So yeah, thank you, Patreons, for your support. And if you're not a Patreon support, get on board. That's what all the cool kids are doing these days. What I miss, Jessie?
Nothing. I mean, I'm coming in at what, 480p?
480p tonight.
Because, you know, internet's fun and we love it. And Lee, you've been so patient. We appreciate you.
No problem at all.
We had you on last year.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, after your boots went live, and there's a boot named after you. So what the heck have you been up to?
I've been busy at the day job a lot lately. It's been pretty crazy, busy at work. So the shop's been slacking a little bit, but I've had a few bigger projects to keep me busy. A lot less of the small projects, but in any free time I have, I've just been trying to learn as much as I can. I've really been diving into 3D modeling with the 3D printer, printing out some stuff. It's been fun. I'm not ready to use the Fusion 360 yet, but I'm becoming a Tinkercad master.
All right. And do you feel like Tinkercad gives you the paintbrush and the opportunity to sort of take what you're thinking about up here in the noodle and turn it into something?
To a certain degree. Like, I know my limitations, but it's fun.
That's cool. And what printer are you using these days? Are you on the Bamboo train?
Yeah, I jumped right on the Bamboo wagon. I got the P1S.
Nice.
I have the mini, and I want a bigger one already.
It's such a plug and play machine.
It's so nice.
It's for the people who want a 3D print but don't want to know how a 3D printer works.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to have to work on it. You don't want to have to do like I haven't had any issues at all, knock on wood, but
yeah, well, make up the spaghetti tomorrow. That's what you get for bragging on it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and you know too, with having kids, and they're like, "Oh, this is a fun like machine you got," and you're like, "Here's Bamboo Lab. Go find something."
And like
whatever you want.
He saw me on Tinkercad making something. He's like, "You know about Tinkercad? Like we use this at school."
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so he started teaching me stuff, and then he'll like. Because you can upload any file you download from wherever into Tinkercad and edit it. So he showed me how to like edit pre-made files in Tinkercad and do a bunch of stuff. So he's got his laptop with Bamboo Lab on it, and he can do his own thing whenever he wants. So he's been printing a ton of stuff too. It's fun.
I love it. And that's like the same in my house too, because my son. Well, my daughter had the same teacher my son had this last year, and they have a 3D printer in the classroom. So he taught both my kids Tinkercad, but he's like, "I don't know, Mom, just extrude this and do this." And I'm like, how do you know this stuff? Like, oh my God. He was
making these little figurines, like little stick figure kind of guys, but he was taking orders at school, coming home, printing like 10 of them, and then he's like, all right, I need one to have a basketball, I need one to have a football, I need one to have a sword, and he'd go in to download whatever files and bring them into Tinkercad and edit them to the hand, so he could just he knows more than I do at this point.
He's a hustler.
Oh yeah, and he's using all my filament, so he's gonna start paying for his own.
Oh, it's so true. I'm like, you guys, I only have this many colors left. Like, if you
I
guys
need
want to keep printing stuff,
I need like 50% of whatever you make.
There you go. It's for insurance.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so fun.
Holy moly. I'm so proud of us. I love that every once in a while we get to have an episode where we get three friends and we're hanging out and we're not causing mischief, and it's just wonderful. Like Lee, you're doing some 3D printing. Your day job for the most part is looking over a job site and electricians, right?
Yeah. And I'm kind of in between projects right now. The I've been basically doing like the coordination for the big upcoming project that's getting delayed. It just keeps getting delayed. There's endangered birds on the grounds. There's contaminated soil they have to figure out. The power companies dragging their feet. So they're trying to keep me busy. Well, so I'm doing like 2 days a week on that still, and 3 days a week running all over the city, putting out fires. And that's been about a month now, so it's getting a little old. I like being in one place.
I got you. But so you're not out there with the tubing bender anymore, right? Like just you point and tell other cool kids.
Right now I am, because I'm basically by myself usually, putting out these fires, going to little small projects here and there.
Yeah, I still think that there's a little bit of black magic involved in doing some of the stuff that I see you guys do.
It's all math.
Yeah, right. It's not math, it's feel. Or at least it is for you at this point.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Jessie, ever run
conduit? Well, yes and no. I don't really do the electrical stuff because my guy's like dad is a master electrician, so like when it comes to anything electrical, I'm like, that's you, boo. You do you. If it comes to plumbing, I'm that's all me. But electrical, no. Nope. I've had to actually call on oh shoot, I'm gonna space out. He did all the electrical at Jamie's place.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan O'Patrick?
Yes. Yep. I've had to call on him before and be like, hey, I have a question about something. It was a multi-switch, situation. So, but I know there's plenty of people I can call on, like you, maybe.
Anytime.
So
no, I'm putting a bidet seat in one of my restrooms, right? And the conveniently located source of electricity currently is just a switch.
Oh, you're getting a fancy one.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, nothing but the finest seat. Okay.
I got the basic cold water.
No, sir.
I got an upgrade.
It takes one trip to Japan to figure out that like there are fine things in life, and saving your nickels to indulge is a worthwhile experience. But I'm not terrified of turning a light switch into a light switch in a GFCI, right? Like I possess the vocational skills, but I know that in order to get it to work, there's going to be like a lot of guessing and checking first, right? Like until it does work. And I'm probably going to get burnt. But I'll have a friend to keep me company or to, body double so that I stay on task long enough to complete it. And I'll be like, if I fall over, just call 911 real quick and put me out if I'm on fire. We'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
But in the meantime, you're taking fancy shits, so.
Well, I mean, I will once I get it all plugged in. I'm going to be so classy.
Is what they call it, classy shit?
Yes, indeed. Look, all I'm saying is that the washlet seats are a worthwhile indulgence.
We had a bidet. We just got back from Costa Rica, for those of you who don't know. But every suite, quote unquote, bathroom or bedroom in the house had like an ensuite bath, and they each had private bathroom with bidet. So
like with the full ceramic squatter, or was it like a washlet seat?
It wasn't ceramic, but it was heated, and every time you sat on it, it made a noise, and it was very interesting. And so my kids got to experience that too, and that was fun because they're like, these are fancy toilets. Like, what are we doing, Mom? Like, this is a fancy toilet.
Mm-hmm. You guys were in a real class act.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What does this button do?
Yeah. I got a buddy moving from California to St. Louis, and the home that he's purchasing has, in addition to a commode in the water closet, it has a separate ceramic bidet, which I understand mathematically they have to exist, like in my town. But like seeing a freestanding bidet in a home, it's like some fancy stuff, buddy.
My aunt growing up lived next door to us, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but she had, like, this is like an 80s version of a freestanding porcelain bidet. And I never knew what the hell it was. But looking back, I don't know how people use those things. It didn't have like a seat on it. It was just
no, it's like a bowl of a drinking fountain.
Like a toilet without a seat on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just bend over and
you just hover over a drinking fountain.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Anyways, so what's your favorite plumbing thing to do, Lee?
Plumbing? I don't do anything.
No.
I'm boss people around.
Electrical work?
Electrical.
Okay.
Let's talk electrical. Yeah.
My favorite thing to do? I don't know. Boss people around.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years, I've been stuck behind the computer. So, looking at drawings, and now I'm taking on a new role, a larger role of this new project. And I'm really getting into the CAD design of the project, doing the coordinations, working with all the other MEPs, and building the job on the computer before the job even starts. So we have to, the tin knockers will go in and put all their ductwork into this 3D model. Then the carpenters will build the wall. Every trade goes in there, and we have to maneuver our pipes. Oh, you got to move your pipe, over this way. It's unbelievable, really, because you can go into that model, take a measurement, and then go out into the field, and it's spot on. So seeing that side of it's pretty cool nowadays.
I had a client a few years back who was programming for augmented reality headsets. And one of the big things that his company was trying to get into was helping people in the field put on like a goofy Oculus, right? But then be able to take the CAD designs and drop it into the environment and walk through so that they could see sort of like what it would be, but then also see the shortcomings in the places that like it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
To try and save time on the job site before getting, a quarter of a mile of conduit into a space and realize that, it wasn't going to work.
Yeah. And I've never used it myself, but I've witnessed like the guys on the iPads walking around viewing the finished product on their screen, kind of like you're saying, with not having the goggles on in VR, but basically using the iPad and seeing it in space. It's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like one thing everything's moving to is like this augmented reality, but I mean, with your move into a different space in your, trade, do you feel like that brings stuff into your own shop with like, 3D printing, modeling, CNC work, stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before really getting into the computer at work, I didn't do much computer at home. But now, now that I'm on the computer all the time at work, I find it's easier to like pick things up on, like VCarve, node editing and like doing all that stuff. Like I'm familiar with it. Like the mouse just becomes more familiar in your hands, and because before I was one of those typing like with your fingers, just not very computer literate before at all.
Yeah, but that's not even true because you've worked with CNCs for a while now.
Yeah, but not like very primitively, like plug and play. Like I didn't like edit the files and just learn how to do all that till I mean, I've been on the computer at work for a few years now, but I think it helps.
Yeah. Well, you're not just an electrician. I mean, you do, like, so people don't forget, you don't just dance around and make videos. Like, you make some really cool stuff in your home shop too.
Thanks.
Is there anything on the horizon for you? Projects or maybe honeydews that
Well, my wife keeps talking about doing. I made like a, what do you call it? What's it called? Where you put your food in it? A pantry.
right on.
I made one cabinet, one big pantry cabinet for my wife, and now she wants the whole kitchen to look the same. So at least be refacing the cabinets in the kitchen at some point. And then I started looking into it today. You've seen my fake guitar that I made. My buddy's son who plays the guitar, he kind of hinted at maybe trying to put something together for him. So I started looking at doing the real version of the guitar, and it looks a lot more elaborate than I was thinking it's going to be, but we'll see.
Well,
Not being able to play it, I don't know how it's going to kind of turn out, but
I think you can make a bad guitar that is still a guitar
definitely.
Right.
in a short amount of time. Right.
Yeah, like the guitar I did make is 80% there. Like it was just a matter of deleting some of the pocket carves and not putting in the electronics, but the neck is where I'm concerned.
Yeah.
With the frets and all that being right and flat and
trying to put a rod down the entire length of it.
Yeah,
so that
doing
it doesn't
the
crack and
retention rod and this. There's a lot of stuff to it that I wasn't expecting, but I went down that rabbit hole this afternoon and I got overwhelmed. Which frets do I pick? How do I, the spacing of the frets have to be perfect, and the curve of the neck. And
there's also people in the community that do this kind of stuff. So we just have to reach out and ask and be like, yo, here I'm at with this. Yeah. And what kind of, insight can you give me? Because that's what this is all about, right? I mean, we all fall into different rabbit holes.
The cost of the components, like individually, I was like, do I just go on Facebook and get like a $100 Fender, rip it apart and Frankenstein, like just take all the parts out of it and build myself a new one around those parts versus trying to go out and buy all brand new stuff? So I was looking at those options. I was down a deep rabbit hole this afternoon.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, have you guys ever been teased by like Stratocaster router kits on Amazon? Like you ever been poking around on Amazon and see those router templates for like most of a Strat? But you guys are all, doing fancy CNC stuff. But before we all had CNC machines, it's like, well, router template. I can do some kind of shit with a router template. Like,
well, like all the kits I was looking at came with like the bodies and the necks, like all pre-made, and they just assemble them. But I was like, I just need the kit for just the hardware, and it's pretty hard to find. I'm just probably not looking in the right spot. I'm sure somebody can tell me where to look.
I'm sure they could. But
yeah, I feel like an electric ukulele that's shaped like a Telecaster is gonna be what I give myself for Christmas this year. That's gonna be dope. Butter yellow electric ukulele. For what reason, TJ? For reasons.
So what is your son into these days?
Golf.
Golf?
This summer he's on summer break. He did one golf camp, like the first week of summer. We have right down like a quarter mile down the street from me. My neighbor across the street owns like a par 3 golf course. That's like perfect for him. He's just starting out, but he's obsessed. So he did a golf camp there, and then he loved it. So I looked up like a more legit camp where they actually That one more like you just chip around and the guy it's like organized chaos. But now, in a couple weeks, he's going to be going to like an official PGA Tour certified camp for like 8 hours a day.
That's
so
awesome.
that'll be the true test to see whether he really likes it and he wants to keep going with it. We'll see how that goes.
Did you get him a set of clubs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's on his second set now. He outgrew his first set, like because he grew so fast. Like 2 years, he grew like 6 inches.
Oh, he's probably going to be taller than me at Maker Camp this year.
He's taller than Danielle already.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know. I'm thinking about like Maker Camp last year and like my daughter, and I'm like, yeah, now she's like here.
Like, so, this year, I feel like he had a growth spurt, just blew up.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So he's coming to Maker Camp again?
If we go, he'll be coming.
What do you mean if you go?
My wife has it in her head that we can skip Maker Camp to go see Lainey Wilson in concert. And she doesn't know it yet, but that's not going to happen.
I mean, you're aware of how fun works, right?
Yeah.
Maker Camp is
her idea of fun, and me and him might be coming up, just the two of us.
And that's okay.
That
we love your wife though too. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I think now would be a good time for us to announce that we actually do have a silver pass to give away. Nice. Tomorrow we will be posting a giveaway for Maker Camp in New York, and it's one of our favorite events. And TJ and I hope that you guys, some of you, come meet us, and I will leave a description to let you guys know how to enter the giveaway.
Yeah. And then you get to come hang out with me and make magic wands on the lathe. And there's a reel somewhere of Jessie doing a little bit of turning also. Terrified, but turning nonetheless.
Looking like I was going to poop my pants, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
He had so much fun last year.
Yeah.
So after last year, the following Christmas, he begged for a forge because he was in the blacksmithing tent the entire week. I thought like for sure he's going to be swinging a hammer for half an hour, and he's going to be tired. And anytime there was open forge, he was begging me to take him to the forge. So we got a forge for Christmas. He's been doing some blacksmithing here and there. It's a little hot for the forge right now, but all winter long, he was loving it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. Well, then I love that Maker Camp will have somebody who will supervise you or provide you with just like almost anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like if your kid wanted to go get on a power hammer, like just to see how much fun using a power hammer is, like if the sun's up, there's probably somebody hanging out by the power hammer that's like, yeah, let's get awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I like
all those people are great.
Yeah, I like too how, I mean, it's very diverse. I mean, he could have picked anything, right? It didn't have to be like forging. It could have been, carving stuff. It could have been tie-dye. It could have been, welding, whatever. But I mean, the hands-on aspect of Maker Camp is just that, is like, get your hands on stuff, figure out what you love. And they have made it more kid-friendly, which I think is great if you have kids of the acceptable age to go and participate in these things. But yeah, it gives people a chance to kind of figure out what they like and get their hands on some cool stuff.
You could try anything too, like stuff you'd never think that you would be interested in. You can go try it out. And they add more and more every year.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
As long as we don't flood out, we're fine.
Yeah. Now, last year it rained on Sunday, right? While everybody was trying to clean up, and that was kind of a drag. But the weather was perfect. always remarked, because I drove out there, when you watch TVs and movies, they kind of mock people for making a big deal about driving through upstate New York and watching the seasons change and looking at the beautiful foliage and the colors and stuff. I get it now. Like, that's a thing. I'm not gonna mock people for wanting to drive around and see beautiful trees and watching the colors change and stuff. It was a long commute, but like I didn't regret any of it. Like it was gorgeous. And this year, I think I'm going to have a truck. And I found out that there's an off-road park not too far from Maker Camp as well, like an off-road park. So I might duck out for a couple of hours and go see how muddy I can get my truck. So,
oh, that new truck.
Well, my old new truck.
Your whole new truck.
Yeah, my old new truck.
New to you?
Mm-hmm. No, I had been doing truck things in a not truck, and I pretty much destroyed the interior of my not truck doing truck things with it. And it has made selling my not truck a little more complicated than I thought it would be. Yes, now I have a truck to do big truck things with a big truck.
Nice.
If a wood truck could truck, wood truck. It's wonderful. I don't know why I waited so long.
So, Lee, are you going to go to any other events this year? Are you going to Texas Woodworking Festival?
I'm not going to that one. I heard about one in Maine that I might try and shoot up to.
What's in Maine?
The Maine woodworking event.
The main event or something like that?
Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much, but it being so close, I might be able to shoot up there for that.
That sounds too far away.
Rumbling and hubbub during Workbench Con about the main event shortly thereafter.
We'll see. What other ones are there other than the Texas one?
Well, I think AWFS is this month. Is it actually in a couple weeks or?
Yeah, it's like the 22nd or 23rd or 19th or something.
It's coming up.
Have you been to that?
I have not. I would have loved to if we hadn't just got back from Costa Rica like this last weekend.
I get the vibe that that's more like a trade show. Am I right there?
Yeah.
There are some really heavy hitter brands that show up to that, though. The CEO of Harvey's going to be in town for that one. So if you wanted to shake hands and give high fives and stuff like that, Harvey is a good friend of our show. So
yeah, Harvey's awesome. They've treated me very well.
There you go. We had a post in the chat say that it's the 22nd to the 25th.
And where is that?
That's Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, I could do that. I could go to Vegas.
Do it. I know. Well, they do every other year. So it's like 1 year's in Vegas and then it's AWF and AWFS. So AWFS is in Vegas and then the next year it's in, somebody correct me, I feel like it's in Atlanta.
Could be.
Something like that. But there's one more east side and one more west coast. So, which I think is great. And Vegas.
It's good they mix it up and get around on other sides of the country, at least.
Well, that's how I feel. I'm like, everything cool that happens is like on the East Coast. And I'm over here in like the most northwest area you can get possibly in the United States. So everything is at least a 5-hour flight for me. So, if not more. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. Texas is going to be fun. I think doing a trade show weekend in Vegas could be a good time. Thought about trying to make it down, but the person that would have accompanied me for that one has a pinball tournament in Pittsburgh that week. And I was like,
Who's that?
Who plays professional pinball or competition pinball? Gentleman's name is Brian.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He plays and he collects as well. He's got like 36, 38, 31, something like that. 30 something pinball machines in his home. is wild.
That
We
is crazy.
went to a retro bar that had like all the old school games in it. They had like a whole wall of pinball machines. I was playing pinball for a while. Is the whole point of pinball just to get a high score?
Yes.
That's the only. There's no way to like win the game, right?
Well, so yes and no, right? So, okay, least number of words possible. Contemporary pinball machines have a game inside of them and multiples of games inside of them. Like, it's not just like unlocking multi-ball, right? But that is an example of one that we've all probably run into on purpose or otherwise, right? There are some pinball machines. One of my favorites is a game called Champion Pub. And as you play through the game, you face different bare knuckle fighters. And you knock them out by rolling the ball up a ramp and it hits like a dummy on the playfield.
Now, am I right in thinking that the modern games are all like electronic paddles and the older ones, you have more like finesse with the buttons?
It's less like analog versus digital, but like the speed and the power and the response time of the servos is just quicker with newer motors. But
so there were always a motor in there on the
paddle. Okay. Yeah, a little motor that twists that flipper. But yeah, they have, some of them are as intricate as some slot machines that you see in Vegas, man, like big screens and displays, and people get fun intellectual properties to do it. Like there's a Big Lebowski pinball machine that I think is just awesome. You don't see them around very often, but like
they had everyone you could think of. Like I was like, who would have even thought like to make a pinball machine out of this?
Yeah. No, there's been like a couple of Star Wars pinball machines, and they're all pretty fun.
I think I was playing the Aerosmith one. There was an Aerosmith one.
Yeah, it's a great machine. The Apollo 13 silly Tom Hanks movie. We were talking about Tom Hanks and some of his other movies before the show started. It's got not a really stellar game, but it has a 13 ball multi-ball that you can unlock. So there's 13 balls all on the playfield all at once, which is crazy for the 6 seconds that you can keep them alive before like half of them drain out. But like, yeah, pinball's fun. And then there's different ways to do tournaments and play against other people. But basically, you get.
So is there really a friend going to Pittsburgh to play in this? Or
yeah, he is. No, I have kids and he does not, which is how he can collect pinball machines and go to Pittsburgh for fun.
Welcome, Lee. If you haven't met TJ, he is a nerd about almost everything in the entire world. Welcome to Sawdust Talk.
Look, fun is fun. At least I didn't go on a rant about trains. I just like them. I don't know anything about them, really. I like that they're big and that there's lots of types.
I feel like that's the epitome of TJ, though, is that when you think you figured TJ out, you're like, oh, wait, there's another layer. And he knows way too much about another certain subject, and you just never know what it's going to be. And it's fun.
If not me, then who? That's all I have to say about that. If not me, then who?
I mean, it could be naked bike riding. It could be... What else, TJ?
Speaking of bike riding, I am leaving for Colorado tomorrow morning, and I'm going to ride a bicycle 80 miles over 2 mountaintops.
Are you going to be naked?
No, but I have done the World Naked Bike Ride a couple years in a row in St. Louis. Back in my younger and more reckless days.
There you have it, folks. There you have it. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I was made out of much more attractive parts at the time, though. These parts are tired and really good at being a dad and not a naked bike rider.
Oh, shush.
I got an e-bike.
Dude.
Yeah?
E-bikes are awesome. Is yours an actual e-bike that you pedal, or does it have like a throttle?
It's a pedal assist, but
that's awesome.
Do much pedaling.
Dude, look, all I'm saying is that everybody loves going down hills, okay? going uphill on a bike is like kind of the crummy part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And with a pedal assist bike,
It's
you
a
can kind
game
of
changer.
oh, it's so fun, right?
Yeah.
Like it just turns bike riding into a good time the whole time.
Yeah. There's like 6 of us at my campground. We all got e-bikes one year, and we go around to all the different restaurants. We'll go out to breakfast 10 miles away. We'll go to the winery. We'll go to the brewer. It's so much fun. We're like a little e-bike gang.
That's awesome. You guys do need to come up with a name for your e-bike game.
Yeah, what are your patches gonna say?
Colonel Sanders with cross
I
patches.
make some cuts.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys want to talk about what you were talking about before the show? On the show?
Which one?
Which part?
Which I know which part. It took a while. I was thinking more about like, lifestyle stuff and losing weight and stuff.
Oh, yeah, we can talk a little bit about lifestyle stuff. I mean, for those of you who have been looking closely at the show, I've lost like 45, 46 pounds since April with the help of some medicine. It's going really well. There's been a little bit of exercise and riding bikes here and there too, but yeah, it's wild.
Medicine's definitely helping.
Yeah. How do you feel though?
I feel smaller and like my wardrobe is in flux constantly.
I feel like that's the first thing I notice is the clothes getting a little baggy. The shirts that I like that I couldn't wear for a while start fitting again.
Yeah. No, I bought myself an elastic belt, which makes me feel like I'm in 3rd grade. It's a very classy one. Like I'm not ashamed to wear it in public, and you could wear it with dress pants if you wanted to. But like,
is it the nice one that just the big brand there?
With the buckle there.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it clips like a seatbelt in the front. But like, yeah, does it make me feel like a Boy Scout when I'm putting my trousers on in the morning? Yes. Yes, it does. Right. But at the same time, like when you're losing weight and there's things in flux, like not having to constantly pull on your trousers as a Midwestern male, knowing that there's no shelf to hold them up in the first place. Game changer, right? Also, should you find yourself in a scenario now that most of my shorts are baggy in the waist, like I can get in and out of a pair of shorts without having to deal with buttons or anything like that, and I got stretchy elastic belt, right? So I'm just like and down they go for emergency no shorts situations, of course.
Well, and you gotta get on Lee's level, like you get that brunt box going every month and just get yourself some new smaller stuff, right, Lee?
But it was maybe a couple weeks ago I had to email him. I was like, hey, can you adjust my size? Every time you send me stuff, it doesn't fit me anymore. It's a little bit drop me down a size.
Hey, that's a milestone.
That has to feel good, though. That has to feel good.
It doesn't feel good though when you go the opposite direction.
Well, obviously,
I've been there too.
Sending that email, being like, "Can we size down a little bit?" Like you're like, "Thank you."
The response is always like, "Hell yeah, awesome! That's good for you."
Well, those guys are awesome anyways, so
they're all great.
We love them.
I'm headed there Friday to deliver the new desk for Eric's office. I haven't shown the finished product yet, but it's a 7-foot wide desk with the logo inlaid, and then it's going to have a conference table kind of attached to it coming out the front of it. So he'll have a desk conference table combo. And there'll be a big inlay on the conference table. So when they have their video conferences, it'll be right in the view of the camera.
Front and center. Yeah. Is this the second or third one you've made?
I made them the big conference table. I made them a coffee table just for the lobby. And then this is going into Eric's office, the owner's office. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. They're great people.
They're awesome.
And they will be at Maker Camp as well, of course.
Oh, yeah.
We love it.
I think they got some good plan this year for Maker Camp.
Good.
I mean, I really enjoyed even their novel events, like doing tug of war and stuff. Like, I love that they time it in such a way that there is an audience and audience participation is active. I guess that's one of the things that I like about Maker Camp, sort of reflecting, is that people participate, right? Like, even if it's something like goofy or niche or whatever, like, people show up.
Yeah.
If it's on the board, somebody's going to be there, which is pretty stellar. Even working the pole lathe, which, you know, nobody gets really excited about old-timey wood turning. But
there's never an empty area. If there's something going on at any given time, there's always a crowd.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
When we had Austin on the show, I think he said the guys doing the chainsaw milling and the live construction squad are going to be doing something a little bit different this year. Speaking of, like, just always making noise and always going on, much like the Forge.
Mm-hmm.
Guys running those chainsaws are tenacious in the number of hours. Yeah. No, and that's not a complaint either. It's truly impressive to me.
It's the perfect background noise for Maker Camp.
Oh, for sure.
Hammering the metal and chainsaws going off in the distance. It's perfect.
Yeah. It's the perfect lullaby. You're like, you hear the Forge like tink, tink, tink.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the chains, and you're just like, best night's sleep ever on this crappy little bed in a RV that was rented from God knows who, but it's lovely.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a ton of time thinking about the source of the RVs, right? Like, we're just gonna pretend that, like, you know, and like the RV just shows up. Like, that's how that works.
It is.
There was a lot of rentals last year. I remember there was a big uptick in RV rentals.
Yeah. I heard that there aren't going to be yurts this year, which is like very strange.
I've never been in a yurt. I've seen them, but I've never been in a yurt.
Well, Ryan stayed in a yurt last year. Ryan Cochran and
yeah, Ryan and
Newman's own
Newman, yeah,
Logan, yeah, they stayed in the yurt last year. It was cool. I mean, they needed a heater at night, but it was cool.
I mean, it beats being right on the ground, right?
Yeah. I mean,
just barely.
TJ, you weren't there 2 years ago when it was like literally a flood. But
we survived the flood.
We did survive the flood. It was fine. Everything was fine. We still hung out. We still had a great time.
You guys talk about this flood like,
oh my god,
some specific scenes from the Never-Ending Story. Like, it's just going to be with you forever.
Yeah,
it will.
It was an event.
If your feet were dry that year, then
you probably were wearing brunt boots.
I was gonna say, were you wearing brunt?
Of course.
Or you invested in some really good.
I wasn't wearing mine because mine only are waterproof up to like an inch.
Wait, the almonds?
Yeah, because they're the Chelseas. They have the fabric on the side, the stretchy fabric on the sides.
Oh,
there was some pretty deep puddles. So
yeah, but there was people in Marin's that said their feet were dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Marins go all the way up the side at least.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to do that again this year, though. We're going to have an awesome, dry, beautiful weekend. It's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely.
There will be plenty of power for the lathes and the welders, and the metal sculptors will never run out of gas. And who knows? I can only imagine what the I'm gonna try and say surf prep. That's no. I want to say the Total Boat Squad and the weird stuff that they come up with for kids. Rocket boats this year was pretty stellar. Like,
that was fun.
That was pretty cool. So who knows? Maybe we'll Do a Pinewood Derby with a bunch of makers. But
that would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be super cute. All right. Well, TJ, do you want to run us through responses one more time?
Yes, I do. Quick one more thanks to Hannah and the team over at Surf Prep. I believe they're doing some email pushing about the drywall sanding discs, which I talk about like every show, every other show, but I am truly amazed at the efficiency that these 9-inch discs have. The year is 2025. I think we've all kind of outgrown our popcorn ceilings. And if you want to take care of the popcorn ceiling that you're staring at right now as you look up from your monitors or your cell phones, get yourself a drywall sander, get yourself some Surf Prep 9-inch donut discs. That's what I call them. They've got a better name or an acronym involved, but great big 9-inch donut, suck up the dust, get rid of your popcorn ceilings. It's 2025. We can do better. Layla over at Casey Bombshell is hosting the best place to buy your Sawdust Talk merchandise, and that is caseybombshell.com. Go get yourself a nice, cozy sleep shirt. Make sure that it says Sawdust Talk on it because we're cool. That's why you're here. Makers for St. Jude, one more time. Get involved. Get awesome. Raise money. Childhood cancer sucks. There's nobody who cheers for childhood cancer, but you can cheer for a maker community getting together and raising funds to fight something so awful. So take your cool stuff and do cool stuff for people who could use your help. Get a hold of Mike or me or Jessie, or heck, Lee will help you somehow also, and he is tangentially involved. Get involved. Makers for St. Jude. Look it up. And then, yeah, do you guys know there's a Patreon for this channel? We talk about it every now and again. And for just $5 a month, which I think is now cheaper than sponsoring an Ethiopian child, you could be sponsoring our channel. And yeah, we're not Ethiopian, but we do like going to events. Okay. Lee, you've done this a handful of times, so you know that after we do our final lap through the sponsors, you get the final question. And you've been asked the final question at least 3 times. Okay. And we didn't go over it in the green room, but it'll sound familiar when we get to it, which is every week we ask our guests to come up with like a motivational thought or a quote or a reason to open their door to your wood shop, or make a mess if you haven't made one, or clean up a mess if you got one and it's getting in the way of you getting more awesome. What would you like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Just go make something. Use your creativity. That's all I got.
That's okay.
I'm not very motivational tonight.
That's okay. You're on East Coast time.
I got to get up in 3 hours.
Okay, well then, yeah, let's call it a night, cool kids. We will love seeing you, Lee. We love hanging out with you.
Thanks for
having me. Boys and girls, children of all ages, viewers, listeners. We will see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye.